Thanks to the European Internet Forum and also, of course, to Mr. Negrescu for the invitation and for the opportunity to have this debate today. I think it's a very timely one. If you allow me, I would share with you some initial reflection on where we are. I mean, I couldn't agree with more with a lot of the points that Mr. Negrescu has already made. Maybe something to add to that. First, let's think a bit about the pandemic. It is definitely a game changer. Overnight, in the last few months, many of us had to digitize very fast. There was a steep learning curve, and we have discovered that we can actually be much more digital, that there are a lot of alternatives, and in the end, it is not so difficult to be part of digital transformation. At the same time, what we've realized with the pandemic is that we were not as digitized as we thought we were. In the sense that much of the investments that we have made, maybe it was there, but it was not used, and we've seen also the limitations and the huge risks we have if we do not treat digital transformation with the right prioritization. Because if you're not digitized, whether it is because you do not have the skills or you do not have the infrastructure or a combination of both, you risk to be totally excluded. And as Mr. Negrescu said, then we lose the entire process. What also was very visible is that, of course, we change either when there is a strong motivation to do so, but mostly only when we have to. And there was investment. We are in the middle of digital transformation, but investment was not the answer necessarily to everything, because once you have the equipment and you have the skills, you need also to make sure that you use them and that they are part of your life and of your daily activities. And this did not happen all the time. There were companies who had the possibility to be much more digital, but they weren't. And they discovered this now with the pandemic, that actually there are better models to organize your activity than before. Same with many schools, by the way. So obviously, this pandemic overall has been, a great experiment, but also, I'm confident, a great trigger. So what should we do now? It is obviously a very good timing, because we have a new investment cycle beginning with a new multi-annual financial framework. We have also, for the first time, once, of course, the member states ratified this deal, a huge recovery plan that is out there with skilling and upskilling as one of the 7 key flagships of this recovery plan. We also have a new strategy in place, in the sense that we have a new skills agenda with the packs for skills, with a clear and ambitious target for ensuring basic digital skills to our working population. And also we have a new digital education action plan, which is built on the lessons learned from the pandemic. And of course, getting the digital education right is a very important condition to deliver on our objectives for ensuring digital skills. Now, if you allow me maybe to share with you, because we have all this in place, but maybe, it would be good to speak now concretely of what's in the pipeline in the next year. And if you allow me, I would mention maybe 4 or 5 actions. First, we will be working and we will propose a recommendation to the Council on online learning for primary and secondary education. We think that this needs to be treated separately and needs to deserve its own particular attention, because of course universities are greater actors, and also many of them have already used certain digital tools, especially online learning, for a while, but this is not the case with schools, and a lot of guidance is needed there, because it's not only about having a laptop and having connectivity, it's also about content, about the skills of the teachers, digital, but also pedagogical skills that need to come with that. How to use data, how to use AI in this context. So we are working a lot in kickstarting this as soon as possible. The second measure, which we think is essential, and it's something actually that, again, we learned from the pandemic, is that probably schools and education institutions in general need support and advice besides the investment to know how to digitize. So we are working in mapping and then putting together a network of advisory services to support education institutions to digitize and see how they need to approach that, and then also what is needed also for the students and the kind of programs that they can have. Thirdly, we will prototype, and hopefully in 2022 afterwards, we will also be able to implement the European Digital Skills Certificate. This is something that many stakeholders have asked in our discussions in preparing the Digital Education Action Plan. It is, if you want, a passport for everybody to use in the labor market, to prove the level of digital skills, but also for employers to assess their employees, and also to support them in getting the training and getting to the right level that is necessary for carrying that specific work. And finally, we've begun a strategic dialogue with stakeholders. As Mr. Negrescu was saying, we are all part of this. It is not anymore an issue of us and them, or us, the policymakers, and them, the rest, how should I say, the stakeholders and the other actors. No, we are a team. Obviously, this is so dynamic that we need to communicate much better, and we need to become much more flexible in doing this policy in this area. So this is in terms of policy decisions. Then we have the investment part. I would maybe refer to recovery, and of course the upskill, the skill and upskill flagship. That is one of the 7 flagships that we encourage member states to invest recovery investment in. We have also on top of that all the MFF programs, some which like the European Social Fund, but also the Digital Euro program, which for the first time invests in advanced digital skills. We also need our specialists to drive digital transformation in Europe. And you mentioned digital innovation hubs, which of course will be important to put together SMEs, businesses, and also specialists to support such training, but also to support all sorts of innovation in this area. Maybe just one remark there. Investment needs to come together with reforms. And why this is important, as I said earlier as well, it is not enough just to have the skills. It's a very important thing to have the skills, but it is not enough. The world of work is changing. Besides the concrete skills, you need the literacy. You need to know how to deal and face information, how to act in an internet and digitized world. And also the world of work is changing. The contracts are changing. The business models are changing. And we need reforms also, in the labor market to take account of that and to ensure that the digitalization process that is going on is driven by us and in our interest, not the other way around, as it was said before, and also that is in line with the European values. And of course, as I said, again, I will just close with this idea that, of course, we are a team in bringing together the demand and offer in the labor market and in finding the solutions together for the future. But I'm happy to discuss further, of course, in a bit later in the question and answer session. Thank you.